Hey, have you ever had that light bulb moment? Maybe written a song or sketched out a cool logo? Well, if you have, you've created something valuable. Today, we're going to break down exactly how you can protect that hard work. Because let's be real, what happens if you don't?
No, really, just imagine this for a second. You come up with a truly game-changing billion-dollar idea, and then, poof, someone else swoops in and starts making millions from your work. That is the absolute nightmare scenario for any creator or innovator, right? And that's exactly why what we're talking about today is so important.
And look, this isn't just some hypothetical fear. This stuff happens. Just look at the tech giants, Apple and Samsung. For them, ideas are literally worth billions. They were locked in this massive 7-year-long legal war over the design and the tech inside their smartphones. It just goes to show you how fiercely valuable a single idea can be once it's brought to life. And that really gets to the heart of the problem for every single creator out there. That nagging fear that your hard work, your baby, could just be stolen. It's a universal anxiety for anyone who's ever poured their soul into making something new.
You know, what's really interesting is that any product of your mind has real, tangible value in the marketplace. We're talking about everything from an app you code, to a song you write, to the brand you build. If you created it, it has worth.
Okay, so if your creation has value, that also means it's vulnerable, right? It needs some kind of protection. Think of it like a shield, something to stop others from just taking it and using it without your permission. And that shield, well, that's what we're here to talk about.
So that shield we're talking about, it has an official name: intellectual property, or just IP for short. So what exactly is it, and how does it all work?
Okay, so here's the formal definition. But the most important part to zero in on is this phrase, expressed form of an idea. See, IP law doesn't protect a random thought that's just floating around in your head. It protects the moment you give that idea form, the moment you write it down, build a prototype, or hit record. That's when the law steps in and gives you, the creator, exclusive control over it.
So basically, IP takes that idea of a shield and makes it a real, legal thing. It's the law standing behind you saying, hey, this belongs to you and nobody else can touch it without your say-so.
Now, here's the thing. Not all ideas are created equal, so you can't just have one type of shield. A better way to think about it is like having a toolbox. The real key is knowing which tool to pull out for which job. So let's open up this toolbox and look at the 3 most common tools inside.
All right, tool number 1, patents. This is for the inventors out there. If you've come up with a new machine, a new process, or some kind of technical solution to a problem, this is your tool.
And let me tell you, a patent is an incredibly powerful tool. It basically grants you a legal monopoly on your invention, usually for 20 years. Think about that. For 2 whole decades, you have the exclusive right to stop anyone and everyone else from making, using, or selling your invention.
But you can't just patent any old thing. Your invention has to tick 4 pretty important boxes. First, it has to be totally new, never seen before. Second, it has to be inventive, which means it can't just be an obvious little tweak on something that's already out there. Third, it has to be something that can actually be made or used in an industry. And finally, it has to be functional or technical. It has to be about how something works or how it's made.
Okay, so what if your invention is more of a clever improvement than some huge world-changing breakthrough? Well, that's where something called a utility innovation comes into play. You can think of it as like a patent light. It's designed for those smaller, incremental inventions. It's usually a bit easier to get, and it gives you protection for an initial 10 years.
And this quote from Apple really nails why patents matter so much. When they said their fight with Samsung was about more than money, what they were really saying was this was about protecting the very principle of innovation that their entire company was built on. It was about defending their creative soul.
All right, let's grab the next tool from our toolbox. This one is for all the creators. If you're an artist, a writer, a musician, a filmmaker, even a programmer, your go-to tool is copyright. This is all about protecting original creative works.
Now, here's the really cool and honestly often surprising thing about copyright. It's automatic. Yeah, you heard that right. Unlike a patent, you don't have to fill out a bunch of forms or apply for it. The very moment you create something original and put it into a tangible form, like, writing it down or hitting the record button, boom, it's protected.
So what kind of stuff are we talking about here? Well, all sorts of things. Novels, song lyrics, articles, paintings, photos, logos, even music compositions, sound recordings, plays, films, and yes, even the very code that makes your favorite software work.
all of that falls under the copyright shield.
In this protection, it lasts for a really long time. The standard is the entire lifetime of the person who created it, plus another 50 years after they've passed away. I mean, your great-grandchildren could still be benefiting from a song you write today? That's pretty amazing.
Okay, time for our final tool in the IP toolbox, the trademark. Now this one's a little different. It's not about protecting an invention or a piece of art, it's all about protecting your brand's identity out there in the marketplace.
So a trademark is basically any sign that tells a customer, hey, this product comes from this specific company and not that other one. It could be a name, like Coca-Cola, or a logo, like the Nike swoosh. Its whole job is to stop people from getting confused. And here's the real kicker. Unlike patents and copyrights, a trademark can potentially last forever, as long as you keep using it and protecting it.
And here's a fantastic David versus Goliath story that shows you trademarks in action. There is a small local restaurant in Malaysia called McCurry. As you can guess, McDonald's sued them over the name. But after an epic 8-year legal battle, the court actually ruled that McCurry was distinct enough and they got to keep their name. It's just a powerful reminder of how important and defensible a unique brand identity can be.
But a trademark is so much more than just a name or a logo. It's like a Swiss Army knife for your brand. It tells you the origin of the product, right? It helps customers choose it again and again. It starts to signal a certain level of quality. It becomes the hook for all your marketing and advertising. And over time, it becomes a seriously valuable financial asset that you can license or even sell.
So there you have it. We've looked inside the IP toolbox and pulled out the 3 main tools: patents for inventions, copyrights for creative works, and trademarks for brands. These are the legal shields you can put up to protect your most valuable creations.
And that really just leaves us with one final crucial question to think about. You've poured your time, your intellect, your creativity, and your hard work into making something special. It absolutely has value. So the question is your shield up? Is it protected?